Welcome to Moments for Moms. I'm your host, Ashley McLean, and I'm so excited that you have joined me today. This show is a part of the Amplify Podcast Network, where ideas echo and voices resonate. So, if you're anything like me, moments are something that as moms, we don't get many of. My hope is that you can walk away from each episode encouraged, inspired, and recharged to continue on this amazing and sometimes exhausting journey we're on together called motherhood. So consider this your invitation to grab a cup of coffee or tea and take this moment just for you. Hey, welcome to another episode of What If Moments for Moms. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me here. Today, we are talking to my guest, Mande Sattia, and this is part 2 of a postpartum depression series. And if you haven't seen part 1, I really encourage you to go back, go on our YouTube, go on our website, watch that, because it really takes a deep dive into what it is, Mande's story, and the fact that there is hope. On today's episode, we're going to focus on how it affects our family. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea and take this moment that's just for you. Thank you so much for joining us again today. I'm so excited to talk about a little hard subject, but we're making it really fun and very hope-filled. So this is actually part 2. Yes, this is part 2 of our postpartum depression series. And my guest is with me again. Again, if you haven't seen part 1, go back, check that out, then come back to this one. So I am here with Mande. And Mande, you are a mom, an author. Tell us just a little bit about your family and the book and the articles that you write. Before we get started here.
Okay. Well, I am a mama. I have 2 daughters. They're 21 and 16 almost within the next month.
I still don't believe that.
I started young. I was early 20s. And so I'm on the back end, and it's actually a really beautiful season to be in. I've gotten through a lot of the really hard stuff, and I just get to bask at these beautiful creations that I adore. Yeah. I adore them. Yeah. I'm married. We just celebrated our 20-year anniversary. So that was very exciting. We did it upright in Florida too, which is your old stomping ground, right?
Yes, you did.
We went to Florida. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm an author. I love to write. We just put out a book called So God Made a Mother. It's written from a community of writers on a website, Her View from Home.
Yes.
And Leslie Means is the founder. She has fostered a phenomenal community of women who are so supportive and encouraging and kind. So It's been amazing. And I work in vocational ministry. I've been doing that for about 13 years now. So the writing is a little something I do on the side, but I do it as often as I possibly can. It's just become a true gift for me. And really, the book became another part of my healing process. My piece is about when I lost my mom. And so the grief process included the piece in the book. To write it out was so cathartic and healing. And so I'm really, really thankful for that book on multiple levels. It was hugely healing for me. So
yes. And we love Leslie. We've had her on episode 5. Leslie was on episode 5.
Okay.
If you want to go back and watch Leslie. And she
Number 5.
She goes into detail about the book and into the Her View from Home ministry. And I'm just so thankful to be connected with you all. And you all are just incredible. So let's talk about, we talked so much about what postpartum feels like, kind of the onset of it, what the treatment can look like, isolation, all of those things. This episode, we really wanted to talk about what does it look like in the midst of our family?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What is that? Let's go ahead and start there.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's such a ripple effect in families. As we mentioned before, I struggled with postpartum depression with both of my pregnancies, one for each daughter. And I thankfully had a husband that was willing to get in there and really advocate and fight for my healing and my support. But it does take a toll on your partner. They then feel like they sort of are having to care for 2 people, the new baby and the mama and themselves. And so it has a ripple effect. It can absolutely affect bonding with your baby. And then the other siblings that you may have, your other kiddos too. So that isolation just creates these ripples throughout a whole household, which is why gaining access to treatment and beginning it as soon as you can is so very important. It makes all the difference. And I think sometimes about the legacy of postpartum depression, I think about all the generations that came before ours, where it became very normalized to talk about mental health. I just think it's so normal now. It's almost a buzzword, but it's an important buzzword. And I'm glad we've gotten to this point. But for generations, it was silent suffering, right? Silent suffering. And actually, as I've talked to women in generations older than mine, they kind of like do a lean in and whisper that I had that too, but you didn't get treated for it. You didn't get treated. I don't even know what options there were.
I don't know.
I really don't know. I mean, other than really sometimes horrific things like institutionalization or something like that. I mean, I don't know. And so there was a lot of silent suffering, and I'm thankful that we have gotten, I think we've moved past that and we've made a lot of progress, but it absolutely is a heavy thing for a whole family to deal with. You don't experience postpartum depression in a vacuum. It's not just for the person that's dealing with it. And so that's why it's so important to have a community around you, because the burden that they can take off of your partner is tremendous. Those church friends, those neighbors, those grandparents, those aunts and uncles make all the difference for sure.
Yes. And I loved in the last episode, you talked about having a conversation before you have the baby with your spouse.
Yeah.
And
I've
never even I never gave that a thought. I didn't like that is such a good word and good advice.
Have it beforehand.
Because they don't know. I
feel
like they have no,
I don't know.
They're not knowing what to look like. They don't talk to their guy friends about postpartum depression.
No, not at all.
So if we can just open up that conversation, like you said, and say like, hey, if you see any of this in me, I need your help. I need
your help. Yes. Absolutely. And like we mentioned before, statistically, the research says that a mama who is suffering from postpartum depression it increases the risk factor that dad will start to feel a depressed mood as well. So again, the quicker that you can get to treatment, the better off it is for everyone in the whole household. Have the conversation ahead of time, because it's really hard to have it when you're in the midst of postpartum depression.
And especially if you don't even know that you're there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I do think that there's a lot of people that go through it untreated and don't talk about it because they don't really know what it is or if it's normal.
Yep.
Baby
blues, we call it. And so then we just sort of push through. And, unfortunately that can lead to things like unhealthy coping mechanisms, which we don't want. We don't want to add to the fire. We want to get to a place of wholeness and healing. And that's what God has for you too. That's what He prefers for you. That's your future. That's your hope. So run to treatment, run to it.
Yes. And I think going back to like what we talked about, like telling the dads, I think, so something I've learned with my own husband through the course of just almost the last 3 years is that like, I can so quickly and I don't like this and I'm working on this, but I can easily get to that like anger or rage because he's not doing what I'm in my mind think that why aren't you helping me? Do you see everything that I'm doing? Yeah. He's not doing anything like he really, that's just not how they're wired. And I'm learning that. And I'm learning more. Yes. That's what I'm learning. If I ask him, communicate. If I ask him to help me or do something, there's no problem. Like it's on Wednesday mornings for us, our little guy goes to either my dad's or my father-in-law's. And so for me, I leave super early. It's wonderful. But for me, like it's extra, like packing the night before, packing all of the lunches and the foods and all the things and getting out the doors way earlier than a normal work day. Yes. And before I would be like sweating by the time I got in the car, ready for work, sweating. And then I'm like, do you not see me? How do you not see me? The second I asked Bobby, I was like, hey, on Wednesday mornings, I'll have his clothes laid out. Can you just get him ready? Yeah. Never been a problem since. And I'm like, why did I let myself get so angry and frustrated and be passive aggressive, like walk past the couch?
I know. But also I think it's sort of this unspoken thing that it has like tentacles and it gets inside the fiber of moms. There is an expectation that we think we need to do it all, which is one of the greatest lies the devil has ever told us. We do not have to do it all. You can dabble in as many things as you want to. And sometimes you're going to be at 90%, and sometimes you're going to be at 10%, and sometimes you're going to be 100%, but you don't have to do it all with perfection all the time. Right. Nobody has that expectation of you. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Yeah. Do the best you can. Do the best you can. Yes. That's the only expectation, for sure.
Yes, that's so good. I totally agree with that. He even tells me sometimes that he's like, I'm good enough to eat like a bologna sandwich for dinner. You don't have to do all of this.
Yes.
But in my mind, and also my love language is acts of service. So I love doing it. Yes. Like I want to provide this meal. You've been outside working hard. You're our primary provider. Like this is how I can do for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's like, it can just be this. Like it doesn't have to be like meat, potatoes, a vegetable, and a salad and dessert. Right. Like take that. Let me take that off your plate. And that was so helpful when he said that to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm in the season of life now where like everyone's going all the different directions. So we don't even eat dinner together very often anymore. That happens when your kids get older. So, he'll be fine with bologna later on too. It'll be great.
It was just such a beautiful relief for me.
It is.
But again, it came down to communication and me just saying, hey, listen, I'm dying over here and I'm dying. I need help.
Yeah,
I'm dying.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. Welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging with us for this incredible conversation filled with hope on postpartum depression. Again, if you missed the first episode that I did with Mande, I really encourage you to go back and check that one out. It talks about all of the feelings and the things and the treatment and the hope. So go back and check that one out and then dive back into this episode. So we are now on the other side and kind of talking about what postpartum depression looks like in the midst of the family. And Mande, now here you are, years past it at this point, right?
Well over a decade, yes.
So what did you learn through the season of postpartum?
Well, one of the biggest things I learned was the importance of self-care, which you would think that by the time I hit my 20s, I would have known that, but I didn't really know that until I was forced to put myself at the top of the pecking order because it was make or break. Me being able to take care of myself and get the help I needed became the priority and the most paramount thing to me. And so it was really the start of me learning how to take care of myself. And it's something that I've learned over the years to do better and better. But one of the things that I learned was that it's really an act of worship. It's an act of worship and obedience to God to take care of the creation that you are. And so that was a powerful thing for me to learn. In the beginning, it was an act of necessity. I had to do it to survive. But as the years have gone on, I've learned that it's an act of privilege and joy to be able to take care of yourself. So that was something that I learned. I also learned that I have the ability to sustain hard things, that even though when you are in the midst of a postpartum battle, you feel delicate and fragile, like you're ready to shatter at any moment, right? But we're actually not. We are created to sustain hard things. And so it's amazing how when you come out the other side of something hard, do you ever look back and go, I did that, I did that. And I'm okay. Here I am standing. Right. And so it gives you confidence. It gives you confidence to know that when the next hit comes, because it will come, right? It's going to come. Mm-hmm. When the next hit comes, whatever that challenge may be, you can sustain that too. Yeah. So it taught me that I can do hard things and that I can make it out the other side. And I just learned the importance of community, how important it is to have a rally of people around you, spouses, siblings, parents, church community. They will make or break your healing journey. If you, as we said before, if you are isolated and there's no one there to surround you, I mean, it's hard enough to get out of the house with a newborn baby if you're firing on all cylinders. But if you're not, and you are struggling to get out of bed in the morning, then the act of leaving the house becomes almost debilitating. I mean, it almost feels like you can't do it at all. And so the thought of getting to the doctor or making that phone call can feel like you are climbing a mountain. That's how looming it feels. And so you have to have a community of people around you to encourage you, to sometimes make that phone call for you, to drive you to that doctor's appointment, if that's what it takes, to watch that baby so you can go and do what you need to do. So the community aspect. So build your community before you have the baby. Build your, because you won't be able to do it after. You won't be able to do it after as impossible. Yeah.
Yes. There's no time for new friendships and new
no socializing.
Like the text messaging now, it's like you text somebody and then 4 days later I reply and I'm like,
sorry.
I don't know. Like, I appreciate you because you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why this is working right now. Like,
this is moms know, right? This is the language of text with mothers. Yeah,
it's not like, don't be offended. It's just, this is, I saw it, but here's my moment. Like, right? That's why this show is Moments for Moms, because there's
just the
very few. Here's my one moment to get back with you.
You just get one.
Yes. I love what you talked about. Because that's something that no matter what we're dealing with, like something that I've kind of constantly try to remind myself when I'm walking through something hard. And even in like the mountaintops, like remember what God's already done and remember what he's already brought me through. Because when we're in it, like you said, you can't, you're just like in that like fog, the fog's looming over you and you really can't see anything above that. Absolutely. But like to keep reminding yourself of like all the things, like, look what he has already done for me.
Absolutely.
And he will do it again. Like it might look different. It might not look like your friends. Like, that's something else. Like we've talked about comparison in the journeys too. You know what I mean? Like our journey and our healing might look different. Our support system might look different. I know some friends, their husbands travel and they're gone. Yeah. So
they don't have that there.
What is that? That looks totally different for them. They really have to dig into community and family. Yes. So there's so many different aspects of it, but just remembering what the Lord has done for us.
Absolutely.
And there's so much power in that.
Yes. It's so healing. Absolutely. Yes. He's in the business of delighting us. He really, he loves that. He loves it. Yeah. He lives for it. Yeah.
Yes. And I think something you mentioned we just mentioned it very briefly in our previous show we did together in talking about guilt and shame. Yes. And I think that that's also a place that the devil can keep us, because whether we're in the midst of it or now we're kind of on the outside of it, he can still like get us there. I remember even now, like Charlie doesn't sleep well. So like, I don't have a ton of like quiet time. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just, I have to get, it's just not happening well for me right now. So, but the guilt and the shame that can come with that and just learning, like learning a new way to communicate with God. Like you can constantly talk to him. I listen to a worship playlist when I'm getting ready in the morning and Charlie will come in, he'll say, "Is that music about God?" And I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God, like, he's so sweet.
It is. Yeah. So he flips through his Bible pages and he goes, God. Like he's
I love a 3-year-old.
Like, that's the best. What it's about. That is what it's about. Like, sum it up. God.
That's
childlike faith.
The best way of illustrating God. We make it so complicated and they're just so simple. Do. And I love that about them.
Yes.
But you're right. I mean, the devils and the enemy are he uses the language of shame, of guilt, of condemnation. It's just what he does. It's the only way he knows how to talk to us. And unfortunately, I have fallen for it many times.
Me too.
But thankfully, God has a much louder voice and he helps us to combat those thoughts. I mean, those thoughts are so intrusive and so they linger. And I just love the way that he helps us to come in and fight against. I mean, there's just so many weapons at our disposal to fight against those things. And you're right. And one of them is just remembering what he has done. Because he's always done great things. Always. There's always a history to pull off of for sure.
Yeah. And it's who he is and it's what he wants to do for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, okay. So now what does life look like for you now?
Living beyond it. So 10 years
past, what does it look like?
It's great. Well, I'm still.
Tell me I'll sleep again one day.
Oh, you're going to sleep so good. You're going to sleep so good one day. I promise you. And they're going to sleep a lot too with their teenagers. It's all they do. No, it's great. Like I said, I'm on the back end of parenting. So still a little bit in the messiness of teenage life with my 16-year-old, but really we're coming out the back end. And with my 20-year-old, it's really a joy to watch the fruit of all. You're in it, girl. You are in the trenches. And all that work, you don't see a lot of that fruit until the back end. And so we're getting to see it now. And my husband and I just sit back and like marvel at our children. We're like, wow, there were no people there. Now there's people, and look at them. They're amazing. And we love them and we're honored to know them. So life is pretty great postpartum depression. I have really utilized those skill sets. It's the counting it all joy thing. I've utilized those skill sets that I learned all those years ago many, many times, because sometimes anxiety pops up again. Sometimes depression pops up again for me. It comes in seasons. It comes in waves. I lost my mom recently, which is the subject that I wrote about in the book. And I really had to pull out those skill sets and say, okay, this is how you deal with hard things. This is how you get yourself back to baseline, to a point of health. And so even though I wouldn't have picked postpartum depression and I trudged through it and it was really, really hard, I am actually really thankful that I came out the other end and that I learned a lot in the midst of it. There is hope at the back end of it. There really, really is. There is.
I can't thank you enough for you've brought so much joy and so much hope to this incredible subject. And,
good.
and I thank you for that. I'm glad we can have a hard conversation, but God is a God of hope and he's a God of healing. And thank you for talking this through and being a resource for so many women. I know it's going to touch them. So I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. And thank you all so much for joining us. Again, if you need prayer, if you're in the midst of this, if you feel isolated or alone, please reach out to us. Email me, go on our private Facebook group. I would love to connect with you. We'd love to pray for you. There's so many resources that we can get you and help you with. So please don't feel alone, because you are not alone. Just reach out to us and you will have someone there for you. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining myself and Mandy today for part 2 of this series. If you didn't get to see part 1 with Mandy, I encourage you, go to our website, find our YouTube channel, and check out part 1, because I think in that part, Mandy kind of goes in a little bit more in depth about her story, her journey with postpartum fear and depression. And what I want to share with you guys is mostly, and I love how Mandy left everybody with so much hope. She kind of shared there's so much hope on the other side of it. Like there's still so much life on the other side of it. So I hope that you all receive that and you hear that. I don't know if you're on the other side of it, if you're maybe a new mom and you're in the middle of postpartum, or maybe you're just feel different and you don't really know what it is, because I think that we don't really understand, and there's not a lot of talk about postpartum. And I know for me personally, I really thought that it just meant like you wanted to harm yourself or your baby. And I didn't feel like that in the least bit. I was so excited to have Charlie. All I wanted to do was be around Charlie. So I for sure didn't want to harm him or harm myself. But there was something different about me. And I don't feel like I fully had postpartum, but I did struggle with a ton of fear and a lot of anxiety, and what the devil did with me. And I think what he likes to do with us is when he gets us in those traps, he isolates us so that we feel like we're alone. We feel like we're the only one. I felt like I was physically dying at moments, and I was terrified that I wasn't going to be here to raise Charlie. So if you're dealing with any of these thoughts, any of these feelings, just feeling differently, and you're not really sure what it is, please call, please reach out, please email, go to our website, go to our Facebook page. I would love to talk to you and I would love to pray with you. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much, and I really hope to talk and pray with you soon. See you next time.